All right, Jerry, thank you very much, and welcome, Coach. Nice to have you here. Oregon moves to 2-1, 56-7 victory over Missouri State. Before we get started here, I'd like to say hi to everybody at the cooler, obviously who's watching us up on the big screen right now, and then everybody else along the Oregon IMG Sports Network listening to us right now. Coach, moved to 2-1 with that victory over Missouri State, a real solid win. I think offense, defense, special teams, you guys played well all the way around.
We did. You know, I'll give Missouri State credit. They were impressive, came out in their opening drive and really made our defense work. And, you know, really we're not caught up in the crowd, which a lot of, you know, really good teams do coming in here. I've seen quarterbacks get rattled by this crowd, and coming into Autzen is difficult. But I thought Missouri State handled that very well. But I thought our defense made the proper adjustments and then really finished the game off the way they were supposed to. And offensively, I think we did it both running and passing. We had some big plays in both aspects of the game. Did not turn the ball over, and that was a real big emphasis for us after the LSU game, and will continue to be an emphasis for us. But I was impressed with our guys' effort, our guys' focus, and understanding what the task was at hand.
Missouri State came out, scored first, made it 7-0, and again, it was one of those ones where you knew you were going to get their best shot, because those guys have nothing to lose in a game like this. They came out offensively and looked good right off the bat, didn't they?
They did, you know, and then they executed. You know, a lot of times you can formulate a game plan during the week, but then it's a player's job to go out and execute, and they did. And they did a nice job of attacking our defense, and it took our coaches to make a couple adjustments to make them get back to where we hoped we were going to be. But you're going to take that. You're not going to play perfect in every game, whether it's, you know, playing Missouri State or whether you're playing Nevada or whether you're playing Arizona or whether you're playing LSU. You know, it's about how do you make adjustments and then don't make the same mistake twice. And I think that's what our defense did a good job of is trying to figure out what they were trying to do to exploit us and then, you know, counter that with a move. And that's what our defensive coaches did and our players executed.
Well, I'll tell you what, offensively, and that's where we're going to start, is after the defense gave up that opening touchdown and played some pretty darn good football from then on out, your offense scored 35 straight points and took the lead 35-7. They came out just as hot as they ended against Nevada. Darren Thomas, the offensive line, the backs running well. It really worked well out there on Saturday.
It was, and then the one thing I think that maybe doesn't get enough credit is how well our receivers blocked on the day, and really some of those big runs. LaMichael's 90-yard run, you know, Justin Hoffman threw the key block on that to spring him. On the 50-yarder that he ran, Rashawn Vaughn did a great block on the safety to spring him. So, you know, we're starting to get contributions from our receivers, starting to get contributions from the offensive line, from the running backs, and obviously Darren, you know, in the last 2 weeks has played outstanding for us. So when we can run the ball the way we're running it and then complement that with the play action pass like we did this past Saturday, we can be pretty dangerous on the offensive side.
Offensively, you're playing a lot of young guys, but those young guys are making plays. I mean, you got 3 freshmen, at least I can think of, Trey Carson, DeAnthony Thomas, Colt Lyerla playing on offense and making plays, and they're a big part of that offense right now.
They are. And you throw Jake Fisher, who's playing up front for us, so there's 4 true freshmen that are actually doing a really nice job for us, and we need those guys. We need those guys to continue to develop and to continue to add to what we can do offensively, and as they start to get more comfortable in their roles, we can start to expand their roles.
Well, defensively, we talked about opening drive, but the team obviously made the nice adjustments, and from that point on, I thought the defense played very, very well, particularly after halftime, where they completely shut down Missouri State, and again, nice adjustments your defense made.
Yeah, we pride ourselves on being a second-half football team, one from our conditioning, but also because I think our staff really does a good job of making adjustments at halftime, and in both weeks I thought we've come out in the second half and done a really nice job, and to limit them like we did defensively and score another 21 points offensively in the third quarter to put the game away, is what I challenged our guys at halftime to see if they can do, and that's what good teams do. And it's the second week in a row I think we've come out at halftime and built upon the lead that we've established.
It seems like those last 2 games defensively against Missouri State and against Nevada have had a similar type of feel, at least in the first half, and that is both teams had to work a lot of plays to get down the field. Eventually they make that mistake. The 4th and 1 stop was a big turning point in the game, wasn't it?
It was really big for us, and as we talk about, you know, the game depends not only on stops like that, but our response to the stop. So it's almost like a turnover, and how our offense went on the field and in 3 plays went 91 yards the other way and it resulted in a touchdown. Those are things that just kind of put a dagger in another team. But I think how our defense rose up to stop them on 4th and 1 was a big, big plus for us. And then the offense kind of feeds off of it. So we fed off of what they did, and we go from there. And it's no different than the week before. Troy Hill comes up with a big interception in the red zone. We go out in the field 1 play later and score a touchdown. So both sides are kind of cooperating and working with each other.
I thought your special teams, you know, very solid. I mean, nothing that really jumps out at you, but at the same time, kickoff coverage was great. The punt team, you only had Jackson Rice punt a couple of times, which is a great deal. The less, the better. DeAnthony on returns. Just everything was real solid about what you did.
It was. We spend a lot of time in practice on it, and it's about fundamentals, and Oz does such a great job doing it. But you look at our kickoff cover, did a great job. You know, we punted twice. They were both pinned inside the 10-yard line. And then to have some big returns like we got from DeAnthony when he was in there was big for us. But the opportunity to get Efo to return some punts, to get Terrence Mitchell and Troy Hill back deep on kickoff return, to get Chad Delaney to return some punts, you know, was going to help us down the road in terms of our development.
Okay, well, again, Oregon moves to 2-1 with the 56-7 victory over Missouri State. It's bear down time as Oregon goes to Tucson to take on the Arizona Wildcats, their Pac-12 opener. We'll talk about that and more after we come back from this along the Oregon IMG Sports Network.